Older siblings, what's the sweetest thing you did for a younger sibling that they'll never know about? So my family usually opens presents on Christmas morning around 8 a.m., but due to my mother working this year, we had to start at 6:30. Now, my brother and I are of age and old enough to understand the Santa process. However, we have a younger sister, Katie, who still fully believes. She did the list, put out the cookies, and so on. The main thing she wanted this Christmas and last year was a Nintendo Switch. I don't know much about it other than it's expensive and could make a child's Christmas wish come true. So it comes midnight, and my mother and I are wrapping up the presents for everyone while they're asleep. We're checking off the list to make sure nothing was forgotten. But then we come across the Nintendo on the list. My mom asks me where it is, and I have no clue. I go up and ask my dad, and he has no clue. Everyone in my family, no clue. We all begin scrounging the house, top to bottom. Every corner, every drawer, every hiding spot. Even the vents? Time passes, we're still looking, it's 2 in the morning. We should have been asleep an hour ago. My mother has to wake up in 4 hours to get ready for a full day of work and be with us for presents. She's crying, my dad's pissed, and I'm nervous. I send my parents up to bed and tell them to leave it up to me. Still don't know why I said this. But I stay up, still looking. It's now 4 a.m. I'm ready to pass out. I decide to write the letter from Santa myself, stating the following. Dear Katie, I hit a major storm in the middle of the night and lost Dasher and 60% of my presents. Expect a delivery from the elves within the next few days. So I'm looking up what stores I can buy this Nintendo Switch again. Of course, they're all closed at 4 a.m., but they're closed all day for Christmas too. Now I'm bugging. I decide to let the note do its magic and pray I can find a Nintendo Switch to buy again. Christmas morning comes along and she reads the note. She starts freaking out that Santa even made it in such a bad storm.
He shook his head. I'm still trying to process it all. The nights alone are the hardest. I listened intently as Reza talked more about his relationship struggles and the pain of the divorce. I offered empathy and encouragement where I could and nodded in agreement as if I could relate. He started to ask me to talk about my girlfriend and I just looked down at my feet. I told him I couldn't bring myself to talk about it yet as the wounds were still fresh but was willing to keep hearing him out. He seemed grateful to have someone to confide in over the next hour. As we got up to leave, he clasped my shoulder warmly. Thank you for this. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. I told him sincerely that I was always here if he needed to talk more. We parted ways outside the cafe, both of us feeling a little less alone. Then I went home to my girlfriend. When she asked why I didn't get a full gallon, I think I told her that they were out of gallons and Reza didn't save us one this week. In the ensuing weeks, I proceeded to make all efforts to buy milk when my girlfriend wasn't around. She still didn't know. However, I decided to start working out, so I was able to justify to Reza the purchase of a gallon of 1%. We would normally chat for a few minutes and we would ask each other how things were. We would both give vague answers and wish each other well and be on our way. Eventually, one day my girlfriend went to 7-Eleven on her own when I wasn't around. I guess Reza helped her, made small talk, but was definitely weird towards her. She texted me about it and at this point I knew the jig was up and I had to come clean. When I got home I explained everything to her. She laughs, calls me an idiot, but at the same time thought it was cute for me to keep up the facade and commiserate with Reza, who was clearly dealing with some of his own issues. She decided that we needed to stage a reunion. So the following Sunday, we waltzed in, arm in arm, looking cheery. We could feel his eyes following us around the room. I made eye contact with him once or twice. I could tell he was trying desperately and failing to hold back the biggest knowing grin I've ever seen. Finally we go to check out and he starts wringing his hands and finally bursts out about he was rooting for us and how happy he was that we worked it out. The look of excitement and happiness on Reza's face was probably one of the most uplifting moments I've ever had. He told us repeatedly how we give him hope and how not the whole world is evil. Glad we could help you, Reza. Sorry I lied about the milk.